Media.
KUAM News Headlines is presented by Calvo's Insurance, a legacy of trust, serving Micronesia since 1938. Matson and the Adahi Tano program. Cars Plus, home of Guam's first and only lifetime limited powertrain warranty. IP&E, fueling excellence. McDonald's of Guam, I'm loving it. And King's Restaurants, always open, always local, and serving up favorites for over 40 years.
Tonight on Primetime, Chris Barnett has an update on the PUA and FPOC funds for the island's displaced workers. Plus, local businesses can still apply for pandemic assistance grants from GITA. Nestor Lecanto has that story. And our Tomas Manglotnia speaks with the CNMI's Lieutenant Governor, who weighs in on overtime authorization.
Hafa and good evening. I'm Adriana Cotero. The Department of Labor is working with the Department of Administration on its plans to get checks cut or funds electronically transferred to PUA and FPOC claimants. And as we report, the agency has got the manpower to do it.
Department of Labor Director Dave Della Sola met with Department of Administration and their software vendor today to work out the system to get the long-awaited PUA and FPOC funds into the hands of the island's thousands of displaced workers.
It's the payment section of the program. It'll automatically batch the file in the CSV file and move it for to DOA. That file needs to be set up perfectly so that DOA can then draw the funds down and then take that file, give it to the bank, and then they will do an EFT to all those people. And then there's another imaging file that is used for printing the checks.
As of today, Della Sola says more than 14,000 have filed claims online. 8,000 of those claims clear of errors but still need to be vetted, and the remaining 6,000 have errors. Della Sola adds, DOL also encountered individuals trying to test the integrity of the system by filing what he calls false claims. The agency, however, has brought on board over 60 people. Half have been detailed from other GovGuam agencies, while the other half were picked up for 18 months with federal funds.
The salary, first of all, like my program manager, who I handpicked because she's running basically a $1 billion program like this and she's working nonstop, is $61,000.
Following a recent oversight hearing with DOL, the Republican Party of Guam accused the Leon Guerrero Tenorio administration of using the federally funded program as a political dumping ground to hire individuals as a reward for patronage. Della Sola said he selected some hires using applications left over from when the Leon Guerrero Tenorio administration took office back in 2019.
What a distraction that was.
Was a job announcement put out, or did they have to apply? There was no rules about applying for the positions or announcing that these positions were available?
No. We took the existing applications that we had at the agency. I took the existing applications that were submitted at the transition team. So I had...
Transition team? What transition team?
During the transition, when we were moving in, there was, I don't know, hundreds of applications that were submitted.
You mean transition when we were moving in, took office?
Yeah.
And according to Della Sola, he says they're still hiring at least 200 more people. He's asking people to contact the American Job Center to apply. For now, the DOL director continues to ask for everyone's patience.
I understand everybody just wants to get the money and all this stuff, but I'm dealing with, hundreds of millions of dollars, and it's got to be done right, or they're just going to swoop down and stop the program.
This week, DOL began accepting call-in applications through their processing center at the Guam Community College. Next week, they plan to start accepting walk-in appointments and launch their roaming library satellite sites. For Guam's News Network, Chris Barnett reports.
Just a reminder that the deadline to apply for the program in Salapi, Azuda, and Tautau Disaster Relief Program is this Friday. Those who submit their applications by the deadline will have until June 30th to submit all the additional required documents. To date, a total of 17,040 checks have been processed and released, totaling $12.8 million. Go to Public Health's website at dphss.guam.gov to apply. For more information on the status of checks, you can call the Department of Administration at 475-1101, 1250, or 1221. And GITA is still taking applications from local businesses for some $20 million in pandemic impact assistance grants. CEO Melanie Mendiola says they received more than 1,100 inquiries.
We have approved about 279 of them, and 40% were deemed ineligible. So that's a total of about 319 applications that have been processed. The others, the remaining applications are in process, and they're in process for a number of reasons.
The main reason, she says, is incomplete documentation, as some companies, for example, still need to submit copies of their April GRT payment. Round 1 was for businesses with $500,000 in annual revenue or less and did not receive any federal stimulus assistance. Round 2 is open for those that gross $1.5 million a year or less.
With regard to the approvals, 151 that were approved were in Series 1, meaning those were the smallest of the small businesses, 500,000 and below, and 128 were from the 500,001 all the way up to the 1.5, or businesses who have received PPP or EIDL.
The grant is maxed at $30,000 and is calculated at 25% of average monthly gross receipts. Checks, she says, are already being cut.
After an applicant is notified that they received the grant, they fill out a self-certification form saying that they're going to utilize the money for expenses associated with business interruption. And once we receive their self-certification form, then we send it down to DOA for processing.
Companies are still encouraged to apply. Grants will be paid out until the $20 million is exhausted. For Guam's News Network, I'm Nestor Lecanto.
The number of COVID-19 cases has gone up by 1. According to the latest situation report posted by the Department of Public Health, the latest case was identified through screening conducted at Andersen Air Force Base. The latest case is a man between 30 to 39 years old who was asymptomatic at the time of testing. No other information was provided. As of right now, the count of COVID cases on Guam is 180, with 5 deaths, 163 recoveries, and 12 active cases. In the meantime, free community testing continues tomorrow at the Mung Church from 9 a.m. to noon. You do not need to have symptoms to be tested. Just bring an ID. The midway point, that's where Lieutenant Governor Josh Tenorio says efforts to secure a shelter for the island's homeless are. Tenorio on KUAM's Containing COVID spoke about a request for proposal out for a hardened homeless shelter. This RFP put out after plans to house the homeless in tents at Paseo disintegrated.
Homeless RFP is still ongoing. GSA and Civil Defense reported yesterday that they are in the middle of that RFP, and then the services side, they're doing some work on that to push that out.
COVID-19 outreach testing for the homeless was conducted 2 weeks ago. Plans to have the homeless stay in tents at Paseo were scrapped in favor of a more permanent concrete shelter. The impending arrival of typhoon season and the possibility of exposure to severe weather conditions were factors in the decision to seek a hardened shelter. The airman that was found unresponsive in base quarters on June 3rd at Andersen Air Force Base has been identified as Airman First Class Christopher Harrison Fay, assigned to the 36th Logistics Readiness Squadron. In a statement, Brigadier General Gentry Boswell, 36th Wing Commander, said, quote, "We are grieving the loss of our wingman. Losing a member of our team is one of the most difficult things we face. We will stand strong and face this together," unquote. The cause of death is still under investigation. And yesterday evening, KUAM reported about a missing 7-year-old boy who was part of a hiking group of 20 people. According to the Guam Fire Department, units received a report of the missing boy at around 4:30 p.m. The boy became separated with the rest of the group that was hiking to Sigua Falls from Channel 10. While making his way back to Leo Palace, he was spotted by a Guam Police Department officer. Throughout the evening, rescue units searched for 2 members of the hiking group that went to look for the boy and ended up getting lost. With the assistance of cell phone communication and GPS coordinates, rescue navigated the rugged trail during a torrential downpour and was able to reach them. The entire hiking party was safely escorted out and no emergency health care was needed. And stick around for more news here on Primetime. You're watching KUAM.
While we've all been through a lot over the years,
typhoons, earthquakes, and now COVID-19,
we've been able to get through these together.
For more than 80 years,
KUAM Insurance has been protecting your homes, your businesses,
and the health of your family.
We are here today and we'll be here tomorrow.
There are better days ahead. Tomorrow's a new day filled with hope and choices.
The possibilities of what we can achieve together are limitless.
Let's continue to work together to ensure a brighter tomorrow for all of us.
Our community values everyone's voice, and right now, our combined voice can be more powerful than ever. It can bring our community together and change our island for the better. It can enhance health services, educational programs, and job opportunities, so our families and neighbors thrive today, tomorrow, and for many years to come. Responding to the 2020 Census of Guam is our chance to be heard, come together, and help shape our future.
Hafa, I'm Bernie Valencia with Matson. Our local Matson team understands that these are very trying times for everyone. Matson's top priority, like yours, is to keep our families safe and healthy and ensure you have what you need. We'd like to give you peace of mind that Matson's service continues unscheduled and uninterrupted. Matson is committed to our weekly service from the United States West Coast to Honolulu into Guam and Saipan. We are working with the Port Authority of Guam and providing the capacity and services our customers need so they can continue to meet your needs. Matson will take all appropriate measures to ensure continuity of service into Guam and Saipan. When we work together to take care of our family and neighbors, we will emerge from this as a stronger island community.
This public service announcement was brought to you by the Port Authority of Guam, KUAM Communications, and Matson.
King's Restaurants are still cooking up your favorite breakfast, lunch, and dinner plates and have them available for carryout and delivery. Call them in Tamuning at 647-5464 or in Dedito at 637-5464 and order for carryout. For delivery, please download the free Grab and Grub app and follow the instructions to get King's delivered to your door. Be safe and stay healthy until we see each other again at King's.
KUAM News, winner of the 2020 Regional Edward R. Murrow Award for Excellence in Social Media.
Welcome back. And in regional news, the CNMI Lieutenant Governor Arnold Palacios weighs in on overtime authorization for cabinet members that have raised eyebrows in the Northern Marianas. Our Tomas Manglotnia has the details.
At a press briefing on Monday, CNMI Lieutenant Governor Arnold Palacios weighed in on cabinet members' overtime amid COVID-19.
These guys are not going to get paid, at least not immediately, at the very least, until we get a clear handle on this.
The administration awaits guidance from the Office of the Public Auditor, Attorney General, and FEMA.
Cabinet members are going to be, if they are authorized or could be legally paid under overtime for overtime, they're going to be the last to be paid out.
Meanwhile, the issue of overtime during Typhoon U2 continues to loom over. OPA Director of Investigations, Ashley Cost.
So in regards to any ongoing audit, we don't discuss the audit until it comes out.
She notes that in January, the office received a letter from the AG on U2 overtime. Rep. Tina Sablon says she's dismayed by the recent news amid massive furloughs.
It just seems like we haven't learned our lessons and that the CNMI could once again be on the hook for a major liability, and we will not be reimbursed for that once again.
Sablon says the writing is on the wall.
The governor, no matter how much he might want to, he cannot trump the law with a memo or a directive, and there's just no authority for that.
The Special Committee on Federal Assistance and Disaster-Related Funding is seeking payroll records and timesheets. Tomas Manglotnia for KUAM News on Saipan.
26-year-old Rafael F. Martinez was arrested and charged with second-degree robbery, terrorizing assault on a peace officer, and resisting arrest. At about 3 a.m. on June 6, a security guard in Tamuning came across Martinez. Martinez then pulled out a silver and black pistol and threatened the guard, taking his phone and backpack. The guard asked Martinez if he could do his 4 a.m. rounds, which he did without running away, thinking Martinez would follow him. When he came back, he saw Martinez place the pistol on a table and was using both hands for his phone. When the guard supervisor arrived, the guard urged him to call the police and then grabbed Martinez. Police found the pistol, which was discovered to be plastic. Martinez struggled with police attempting to kick an officer in the groin. Court documents state one officer used an open palm to the abdomen to gain compliance. 35-year-old Virel Urbano Cruz was arrested and charged with possession of a Schedule II controlled substance after he was allegedly found with the drug ice. At around 1:33 a.m. on June 6, police noticed a gray car with the door open in a driveway and stopped to check for signs of burglary. Officers then heard a sound from a white Toyota Corolla parked in the grassy area of the residence and found Cruz inside. In plain, police saw a small baggie containing a white substance suspected to be meth on Cruz's lap. Police then searched the vehicle and found an improvised glass pipe with white powdery residue in the pipe. Cruz admitted that the baggie contained the drug ice, admitted to using the pipe, and that he has been smoking ice for about 2 months. And Simon Sanchez Sharks are circling back onto school grounds for a grad and go commencement ceremony. Here's a look. Simon Sanchez High School Sharks are riding an emotional wave.
I'm relieved because I finally made it, and I just want to say thank you.
How you feel right now after crossing the stage?
Awesome! I feel awesome.
On this wave and unafraid from crossing the channel, as this morning SSHS hosted a grad and go drive-through ceremony.
I was kind of bummed because I'm also part of council, and we kind of worked really hard to have a traditional one, but based on everything that's happening, I'm so thankful that we can still have something.
Maria Fontanos.
Maria Fontanos and her classmates shine bright in their metallic gray cap and gowns, and all driving by to witness the Sharks accomplish another feat. Gigo Mayor Rudy Matanani stopped by to congratulate the village youth.
I'm very excited. It's a different feeling when we see more than 300 of our youngsters graduating and trying to make the best for their lives and their families.
Congratulations!
And I'm very, very proud of Simon Sanchez, because they really produce outstanding citizen students.
Congratulations, class of 2020. Your bright future awaits.
I feel lucky to have this, and I thank my school for letting us have this grad and go.
Job seekers in the community, make sure to mark your calendars. There will be 3 opportunities to speak with employers and interview for jobs at the University of Guam's 2020 Job Fair. The annual Job Fair will be held virtually from 10 a.m. to noon on June 10th, the 17th, and the 24th. The fair is open to graduating seniors, UOG alumni, and the general public. Some of the participating employers include AFLEC, FBI, Joint Region Marianas, Guam Army National Guard, McDonald's, and West Care Pacific Islands, to name a few. Participants should have digital versions of their resumes and cover letters ready to send electronically. They should dress professionally and ensure their environment is safe and suitable for video and audio discussions. Interested applicants and employers can register free of charge at url.uog.edu/2020 Job Fair. In this week's Health Check report, the tireless work to find a vaccine for COVID-19. CBS's Meg Oliver reports the race is on.
Health Check is presented by Island Cancer Center.
Since January, Dr. Dan Baruch hasn't taken a day off, working long hours to develop a vaccine to help stop the spread of the outbreak.
Vaccine development for COVID-19 is proceeding at a pace that is far faster than any vaccine development in history.
Dr. Baruch is the director of the Center for Virology and Vaccine Research at Beth Israel Deaconess Medical Center. He has led groundbreaking work on vaccines for HIV and Zika.
Are you concerned you're moving too fast?
The goal is not to compromise patient safety at all, because ultimately a vaccine absolutely must be safe if it's going to be administered to large numbers of healthy people.
Researchers are taking part of the coronavirus DNA and transferring it into a weakened common cold virus. After it is placed into a cell, the body will produce antibodies, triggering an immune response.
We know from using this vaccine technology for other pathogens in the past that it raises remarkably potent and durable neutralizing antibody responses.
Baruch believes this approach will allow them to quickly mass produce this vaccine if it's approved. It's a gamble that Johnson & Johnson is already betting on, with a commitment to produce 1 billion doses as soon as it's ready.
The outcome of our production will start late this year with millions of vaccines. As more manufacturing capacity comes on board early next year, we'll go up to in the 10 millions and then into the hundreds of millions.
Baruch is optimistic they will start human trials as early as August, a step closer, he hopes, to ending the pandemic. Meg Oliver, CBS News, Montclair, New Jersey.
Health Check is presented by Island Cancer Center.
Coming up, we find out what the PD Mayor did for the Village graduates. Keep it here.